Hello and welcome to another match reaction on Football Talk podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. Not the best of performances, but at this stage of the season, who cares? Liverpool managed to beat Fulham 3-1 at Craven Cottage, a boost to our title challenge as Arsenal beat Wolves yesterday. 2-0 was the result, so this victory puts us in second on joint points with Arsenal at the top of the table. So let's discuss the key moments of the game and follow with the player ratings. This is also a calling show, guys. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, the link is pinned in the live chat. So let's start with the first half. Liverpool started the game on the front foot, playing with real energy and purpose. Diaz goes very close to opening the scoreline in the 3rd minute as Trent whips in a wonderful cross into the box. Diaz tries to guide the ball with a header towards the bottom corner, but he just missed the target. Diaz almost becomes provider as he attacks on the right-hand side and cuts back a pass towards Diogo Jota, but the ball bounces off his standing leg and goes wide. Palhinha has a long shot from distance for Fulham, but it was straight at Alisson, so no trouble caused there. Liverpool have a free kick from the right side of the box. It looked like Trent was going to take it, but Harvey Elliott stepped up and unfortunately hits an embarrassing effort straight at the wall. But then moments later, Liverpool given another chance with a free kick. Same range as the previous set piece, but this time it was on the left side. So Trent steps up wearing his new white and red Adidas Predators and hits a beautifully curled shot into the top bins. What a finish from our right back. A very Beckham-esque free kick. I mentioned the boots because the last time he wore those boots, he scored a free kick. So let's hope he continues to wear it. And obviously we get some luck and some more goals on our side. But just before we approach this second half, or half time, I should say, Liverpool suffered a huge blow for their efforts as they conceded a late goal in stoppage time as Castagne hits a shot into the bottom corner. For me, it was very disappointing to concede an equaliser just before half time. As firstly, I don't think Fulham deserved it, and secondly, I wasn't too sure in terms of how the team would react in the second half. Normally, we always hit another level and are very aggressive in the second half, but in recent weeks, we've not been able to do so. Second half, Liverpool started very positive, which was good to see, playing high possession football and controlling the game. It didn't take long for Liverpool to score the second goal as Gravenberch gets the ball on the edge of the box, creates half a yard, and instinctively smashes the ball into the corner. What a goal for the Dutchman, who unfortunately has had a torrid time with injuries and is also just slowly returning into first team action. And it's his first goal for Liverpool in the Premier League. And you can tell what it meant to him with the celebrations as he was joined by his Dutch compatriots, Gakpo and Virgil van Dijk. That goal, for me, will give him a huge boost of confidence going into other fixtures. But in terms of this game, it certainly reflected after the goal. He played a huge part for the third goal as his pass finds Gakpo, who, by the way, does fantastically took goal past Tosin and threads in an inch-perfect through ball to Jota. He's through on goal and hits a left-footed strike into the bottom corner. Great finish from Jota the Shota. And that was pretty much the key moments of the game. So overall, not a vintage performance from Liverpool, but hey, we got the job done. Right now, with the games reducing and not long to go until the end of the season, every win counts. And regardless of what many fans may think, I still think we're in the title race. Yes, we may not be favourites, but you have to be in it to win it. So let's enjoy the ride and see where we end up. It's the last dance under Jurgen Klopp, so anything is possible. So let's go ahead and do the player ratings. So let me share the graphics with you guys first. Here we go. So let's start with Alisson. So for me, a very, very solid performance from our goalkeeper. He wasn't troubled too many times, but whenever he was called upon, very confident on the ball, catching a lot of the balls, which I feel like when your goalkeeper was dropping the ball from set pieces, you start to get a bit of edgy sort of players around him, especially the defenders. But, you know, Alisson's always composed in those situations. Made a couple of good saves as well. Some saves were straight at him, but I remember that one save he did where he had to parry it quite low and Muniz came back and hit a rebound, but luckily for us, he hit the side netting. So he definitely had a solid performance for me. Good to see him back in action as well. So for me, he gets an 8 out of 10, sorry. Trent, the next player I'm going to review now. What a good performance he had today. I'll say in the first opening 20 minutes, he was definitely the playmaker of our team. You probably have noticed tactically, he was playing in terms of positional sense as a centre back, where Kwanzaa shifted to the right and he was just pinging balls around. So that was obviously a tactical setup from Klopp, and I think it worked because his passing range provided us with great opportunities, but a lot of uncertainty for Fulham as they weren't able to man mark certain players, and players were moving around quite a bit. So the movement was good in the final third. But unfortunately, after those 20 minutes, it kind of fizzled out a little bit. Luckily, Trent was able to step up and produce a moment of brilliance with his free kick. That gave us the lead. And then unfortunately, we got the equalizer, or Fulham got the equalizer late in the first half. So, in terms of his overall performance, he's getting better. Defensive wise, he was good today as well. He's still finding his rhythm, but I saw good signs here. So, I was very impressed with his performance today. So, today, I'm going to rate him 8.5 out of 10. Kwanzaa, for me, had a solid game as well. What he brings to the table is that he's very calm and composed on the ball. With Konate, for example, he can be rash in terms of his decision making. I thought Kwanzaa did really well. The goal that we conceded, I wouldn't like to say he was at fault, but it was his block that ended up giving the ball away to the opposition. And then you had Castagna applying the low finish. But I wouldn't put the sole blame on him. Yes, he could have done better with the clearance there. But it's one of those situations where it was a bit like pinball. The ball was just bouncing off everywhere. No sort of clear-cut opportunity to make that clearance up the pitch. So I wouldn't put him sort of at fault. But overall, I think he had a good game. Wasn't his best of games. So for me, he gets a good ranking of 7 out of 10. The captain, Virgil van Dijk, for me, another solid performance. Never looked in trouble whatsoever for me. Kept the defensive line in great shape. They moved up when required, playing up the higher line. So for me, I think it was very good in terms of his ball as well. We didn't have Mo Salah on the right-hand side, so he was still pinging those balls towards Diaz. I thought he did a good effort with regards to that. And you can just tell his influence was rubbing off everyone. There were certain occasions where, for example, Endo was losing the ball, and you could see Virgil communicating to make sure he's composed and a bit more measured in terms of his passing. So, no, for me, a solid performance from our captain. So I give him an 8 out of 10. Robertson, for me, had a decent game. The only disappointment for me, I just don't feel like he was involved a lot during the game. Normally, he's attacking the byline a little bit more. He did that in the second half, to be fair. But in the first half, I think he was more, maybe it was a tactical thing from Klopp where he was a bit more reserved, making sure he had more of a defensive setup rather than contributing up top. So, no, overall, for me, he had a good performance today. Not really at fault with any of our sort of negative situations. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Endo, for me, had a poor first half, to be fair. His game pushed over the ball far too many times, losing battles, not making the right tackles, and his passing was very erratic. Second half, yeah, he came he came running on in the second half, showed his energy, played with more intensity, made some great tackles. His passing improved as well. Not in terms of short passing, he was whipping balls left, right, and center. So I feel like it was a much better performance. So for me, slightly low rating, but for me, he didn't have a great first. So I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Elliot, for me, I was a little bit disappointed with his performance, to be honest with you. It's probably the reason why Klopp doesn't start him too many times, because he's not as impactful when he starts games for Liverpool. He showed moments where he was, zipping passes here and there. Seemed to have a free role where he would start from the right and then end up on the other side of the pitch. So I think that was a tactical approach to confuse the opposition. But I think in terms of his end product, he wasn't as influential today. His passing was in terms of like short passes it's fine. But no real impact, not real creativity, not what you see from Harvey Elliott when he comes off the bench. When he comes off the bench, I feel like he's just got a different range of passing. Like he makes things happen, makes things tick. So that's probably something he needs to work on. Still a very young player, but maybe just needs to understand his role a bit more when he starts getting as an impact sub. I think he knows what he needs to do for the team, because it's like you're playing with different energy, you're bringing in your creativity, so you're there to make an impact. So you know your role. But when it comes to starting games, I don't feel like he's quite equipped to start on a regular basis. But in terms of his performance today, not the best of performance in my opinion. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Burke, for me, had a very average first half, to be brutally honest. I think with Burke, he wasn't conceding passes or anything like that. I just think his sort of style of play was quite negative, where he was doing a lot of passing sideways and in a situation where I want him to be a bit more of a ball carrier. He's going for the safer pass and passing right to the goalkeeper or to the left back. So I wanted him to be a bit more braver in possession. I mentioned this during our watch along at half time, where I wanted him to be a bit more positive. I wanted him to be a bit more ball carrier and start making runs with the ball. And that's exactly what he did in the second half. So I was very impressed that he did that, especially when he got the ball at the edge of the box and smashed it in the top corner. What a finish it was. That gave him huge confidence, because I remember a few minutes later, he did this piece of skill to get around a player and then help assist. I think it was Robertson on the left side. Yeah, so you could tell once the players got a bit of confidence, they start pulling out the tricks from the bag. So, no, for me, good performance from him. Improved in the second half. Lightened though, I feel like they definitely hit a second gear when the second half began. So I was very impressed with his contribution. He played a part in the third goal as well, where his pass led to Gakpo going through, and then he threaded the through ball to Jota. So no, for me, got the goal, and for me, played a part in the assist. So I'm going to boost his ranking a little bit to 8 out of 10. Let me know if that's justified or you think it's a bit too high. Love to hear from you guys in the comments. In terms of Diaz on the right hand side, he showed moments where I feel like he did well to get past the fullback, which was Robinson, and from my opinion, I thought he was fantastic. Definitely Fulham's best player on the pitch, and in my opinion, probably the best fullback this season. I think he's been fantastic for Fulham as a left back. There's not many that can really challenge him. So yeah, he for me is head and shoulders above everyone else in the league. But in terms of Liverpool, in terms of Diaz, there were moments where he got past Robinson on 2 or 3 occasions in the first half. But I think in the second half, Robinson understood the role, the duty that he had. And yeah, he didn't really give Diaz much space or of a chance to have an influence on the game. So for me, that reduced his score a little bit. So for me, Diaz wasn't as impactful today, so I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Jota, for me, yeah, he was a little bit disappointing in the first half for me. Very slow to release the ball. So he'll have the ball, he'll dribble, and he'll either run into players or he'll make the wrong pass, or yeah, he was a bit all over it today, if I'm being brilliant. Second half, he improved a bit. To be fair, I think he was a bit more, what should I say? He used his skill and his knowledge or his experience a little bit more. I feel like in the first half, he was just going with the flow of the game. And I think because he's not fully fit right now, he's not able to play the patterns that we normally play. So I think in the second half, he used his instinct more. There was one moment where he had the ball, he went around Tosin and left him for dead, and it went through on goal. So those are the moves that I want to see from Jota on the half turn. It doesn't need to be the link up player all the time, but whenever he gets the ball, in recent weeks for me, he's been quite wasteful of possession. The goal was a fantastic finish, lovely free ball from Gakpo first of all, and him driving the ball, hitting a left foot shot. Keeper tried to parry it away, but he had too much power for him to do that. So good finish from him. So for me, a better performance from Jota. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. In terms of Gakpo, yeah, he was fantastic today. I see he's part of Beard Gang right now. Growing himself a beard, and since he's been growing facial hair, he's improved his performances on the pitch. So, no, I thought he was really good today. Something I've said in the past where it sounds so obvious, but you can only judge players when they're wearing the Liverpool shirt, right? So I've been saying from day, we need to play him on the left wing a bit more. That's his natural position. He plays there for used to play there for PSV, played there for the Dutch national team. Yes, I know he can play up front. He can play as a number 10, and he can play in different roles here and there. But that's his bread and butter. That's his natural game. Like, he doesn't think twice in terms of what he does there. It's very instinctive. So whether he attacks the byline or he cuts in, you can tell he's got a purpose or he's got an experience in terms of what he's doing there. So I thought it was very good today. Very good on the ball. Very rarely gave the ball away. Very impactful. Had a couple of shots. I know he had one shot in the first half where he troubled Leno, almost scored there. And yeah, I thought he was really, really good today. So long may that form continue because we've got a lot of games coming up in the Premier League and he will be needed. So for me, in terms of today's performance, I'll give him an 8 out of 10 as he provided the assist for Jota's goal there. So that's my overall rating for the team. If you're watching live, drop a comment in the live chat. Let me know what you think. If you're watching a replay, still drop a comment below the video. And let me know your scores as well for all of the players. And let me know if you agree or disagree with mine. In terms of man of the match, the player that has the highest rating, obviously. So it has to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. Gakpo is very close for me. And then Gravenberch could have been third. But yeah, for me, Trent Alexander-Arnold, good seeing back playing football again. And yeah, beautiful free kick, lovely goal. But it wasn't just a goal, it was his influence in the first half. I feel like it really set the tempo of how he played. So yeah, another good performance from our number 66 there. So yeah, good performance from Trent. That's my man of the match. Before we wrap up, I will just briefly talk about the subs. I'll try not to bash them too much, but yeah, let's get them on the graphic. So we've got Nunes that came on for Diogo Jota. Linya Salah coming on for Diaz. And then we had McAllister on for Gravenberch. There we go. And I'll put in McAllister there, please. There we go. And then we've got Joe Gomez for Trent, like for like substitution there. And then we have the last one was OZZWRLD for Gakpo. So don't need to switch all the players around because they're all in the correct positions, which is good. So who came on first? So it was Nunes, Salah, McAllister that came on as a triple sub. So let's start with Nunes. I won't be too harsh because they're substitutes, so they didn't have a lot of minutes to have influence on the game. I was a little bit frustrated with Nunes. I can't lie. He probably had 2 or 3 involvements in the game. He was on goal, through on goal twice, offside on both occasions. And he had one chance that I remember from the left side where he got a bit selfish and hit a low shot literally on the goal line and it hit the side netting. So, yeah, his decision-making has to improve a lot. Staying on side, he's got such raw speed. I don't know why. I think he was just a bit impatient here because it is something he's worked on in the past where it has reduced in terms of the number of sides, but it does creep in from time to time. That's something he needs to work on because those chances, he was through on goal. The defender was nowhere near him. So he needs to make his run better, be a bit more calculating in terms of how he's moving around the pitch. So yeah, for me, a frustrating cameo. But because we were winning, it didn't feel as annoying. Like if we were chasing for a winner, we were losing and we needed to get the equalizer, then you'd find it a lot more frustrating. But because we were winning, it kind of softens the blow a little bit. But in terms of his performance, yeah, not very impressed with his performance, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys. So I'm going to go for a 4 out of 10. Sounds harsh. Oh, sorry, not 5, a 4. So yeah, may sound harsh, but I gotta be honest. Why does it keep changing to 5? Yeah, I think the universe wants me to do it as 5, but I'm sticking to 4. So we'll leave it at that. Let's go with the next player. It was Mohamed Salah, who Yeah, didn't have too much impact. He was the player that was actually providing the assist for Nunes. Obviously, if Nunes kept on side, then it would look like Salah was amazing when he came on because he set up Nunes twice. We scored 2 more goals. So obviously that didn't work out. He had one chance as well when he threw on goal, but I think it was offside anyway. So yeah, not involved as much. I feel like this was a sort of game where normally when Salah's come off the bench, in Europa League ties, he's normally quite hungry to get goals. Didn't really see that hunger today. Um, so for me, I had an average performance. I can't say it was bad or great in any such shape or form. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. And in terms of McAllister, I actually thought he was poor in possession today. I remember seeing one moment where he gave the ball away and then Fulham were through on goal and they almost scored from it. So yeah, I think possession wise he wasn't great today. Yeah, not the best of cameos to be fair. There's been times where he's come on, I feel like you can really see the impact. Today was not the case for me. So unfortunately, a bit of a low rating. Sounds a bit harsh. Not 4. I'd probably give him a 4.5. I don't think it was as bad as Nunes, but I don't think it was as bad. Actually, I'll probably give him a 5. I don't think he was that bad. But yeah, that one moment where he almost conceded a goal, that could have proved very, very costly for us. But yeah, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. Um, Joe Gomez, yeah, he came on, pretty much kept it solid, didn't really give the ball away or did anything to that nature. At that stage, I knew Klopp needed to make a change because there was quite a few occasions where, for example, Robinson was applying long balls above Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you know Trent didn't really read the situation very well. And on 2 or 3 occasions, the left winger, whether it was Ovolbi or the Cordova Reed, because they were interchanging quite a bit, they would go past him and they'll be through on goal onside. It's just that they were lacking the end product and the final pass to convert. So I thought that's when Klopp saw, you know what, that's something we need to stop or play a bit more of a defensive-minded player, which I mentioned actually during my watch along. So Joe Gomez came on at the right time, so that was a good substitution from Klopp, in my opinion. And he did his thing, he did his job. So I'll give him an average rating of 5 out of 10. Didn't do nothing spectacular for me to increase that rating, but yeah, came in, did a solid job. So I'll give him that rating. Do you know what? I could probably boost it up a little bit. Why not? I'll give him 6 out of 10. I thought he did well when he came on, to be fair. And then Szoboszlai, quite similar to McAllister, where he came on playing left wing, so it's not an unfamiliar role. He used to play that role for Red Bull Leipzig, but he was very wasteful possession. That's something he needs to really work on because it's getting a bit frustrating. We've seen Szoboszlai making these cameos and he's not showing his true level, because I'm a big fan of his, and I'm sure if you've been following the channel for a while, you would have known that by now. But yeah, in recent weeks, he's not been playing top of his game. So for me, he needs to improve going forward. So unfortunately, I can't give him a very high rating because I thought he was quite wasteful in possession. I don't think it was bad at Nunes though, so I'll give him a 4.5 just to balance it out a little bit. But that's my ratings for the subs that came on. I think the substitutions were actually done at the correct time. Normally, Jurgen Klopp waits around the hour mark. At that stage, we had just scored, so the momentum was there. Normally, managers are quite stubborn and they're like, no, I'm going to make that substitution at this moment in time. Don't care what's happened. And it's normally the player that scores. So I think Gravenberg knew he was coming off, so that probably helped raise the game a little bit. But it would have been justified if he'd substituted Gravenberg, because I feel like he was picking up form. That goal meant a lot to him as well. So you got to add a bit of context and perspective when you're making these substitutions, because at that time we were 2-1 up, and moments later we made it 3-1. So that's when the substitution happens. I think that was the right time that Klopp did it. And yeah, they might not have had the right impact, but it's small details. So with Salah, I think if the through balls that he provided to Nunes were scored, then he would have a higher rating. And the same for Nunes, he would have had 2 goals to his name. So Bozlai, if he was better in possession, then his score would have been higher, similar to McAllister. And Joe Gomez, for me, out of all the subs, came in, did the job that was required, and didn't look out of place. So that's the reason for my ratings there. And yeah, that brings the end to the show. So I've just got a comment here. from Double D, big up Double D, he said Gakpo back on the left is problems. Yeah, I think he presents huge problems for the opposition, to be honest with you, which is a good headache for Klopp because you've got Diaz, who we all know has been a live wire on that left-hand side. But then you've got Gakpo, who for me is more industrious in that role, has more of an end product. So it depends what you want in your winger because some managers like wingers to be that player that attacks that byline and excites the crowd a little bit. But at the same time, you've got a winger who can accelerate. And I think people underestimate Gakpo's speed. He's very quick on the ball. Just because he's a bit taller in frame, I don't know. I don't feel like people understand that. But when he puts the burners on, he can breeze past players with ease. So for me, he's a player on form right now. I'd play him a bit. I'll play him in the middle, only due to the fact that Nunes for me has been out of form. But obviously Jota scored today, so that's another dilemma. Where do you put Gakpo? But out of those two positions, for me, Gakpo has to start in the next game. That's my viewpoint there. Whether he drops Diaz or Jota, that remains to be seen. But I feel like Gakpo for me has been our best player in the last 2-3 games. I think I gave him man of the match 2 games in a row before, and it was close to being man of the match today, but I gave it to Trent. So, yeah, for me, it's good to see him back in form. He's picking up form at the right time where we need him. Our attackers haven't been great in front of goals, so hopefully he can get some goals himself. I think that'll give him a boost of confidence, just like it did for Gravenberch today. So, yeah, let's see how it goes. But yeah, definitely agree with you. Having Gakpo on the left is definitely giving problems to the opposition. And that's the end of the show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Double D for your comment. Appreciate your participation as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. No show tomorrow as the Premier League match week 34 is not finished. Normally we'd wrap up the weeks on the weekend. It's actually extended through to midweek fixtures. So the next show, or the Premier League show, will take place this Friday. Time to be confirmed. So best thing to do is follow me at OZFTP on Twitter /X, or you can follow me at Aussie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. But in terms of other shows, we'll be back on Tuesday for the match preview of Everton versus Liverpool. And then on Wednesday, we'll do the live watch along, and we'll also do the match reaction later that evening. So plenty of shows coming up. Thank you all for watching. Just got a comment here from Jay Kisman. Says, best bro. Bless up yourself, bro. Hope you're good. So yeah, as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.